start of another great week, and of course, we are very so excited to have you join us today. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos. My name is Henry Igwebike. We start off today with our newspapers, and right after that, in a jiffy, would be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us joining us right here from our headquarters, Barrister Evans Ofeli, Barrister Law Public Affairs Analyst, and Innocent Aduluba, Journalist Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And welcome. Thank you so very much for your time. So let's start off today with the Punch newspaper. We have lots of stories here, very interesting ones. Let's take a look at each of them just before we get into the talking point for the newspaper. On the bottom strip here, Tinubu approves license for North Oil project. And beside that story, you have Kwara government urges calm after boat tragedy claims 37 lives. The big story, Atiku camp offers Obi VB role in one-term deal. And on the top strip here, CBN slashes federal government loan over 4 trillion naira. Our talking point for today on the newspapers, Tinubu Obi Fayemi share light moments at Pope's inauguration. Love to start with you, Barrister Evans Ofeli. You saw the story, and of course it went viral. What do you make of that little get together?
Yeah, I think it was. They had a nice time. I mean, the president threw a joke to P2B, and they all laughed about it. I think it was a good one to see them outside the shores of this country together, because politics aside, they are our representatives. I mean, the president, P2B, Fayemi, former governor of Ekiti State. These are Nigerians, and the outing was not a bad one. They did not disgrace us there. They represented Nigeria very well, like other countries that went there, and it was a good one that is on record that on the swearing in of the Pope, we have notable Nigerians who were able to grace the occasion, just like so many other leaders all over the world did. It's a good one for the world. It's part of coming together. Nobody goes to a church to fight or to quarrel. I mean, it may not be a church, but a religious gathering like that to quarrel. That is one major thing that religion does, is promote peace world over. So we should see more of this. We should see more of coming together. We should see less of bickering. Politics is supposed to be a game, and in games you're not supposed to create enemies. Okay, you are supposed to make an outing. Either you lose or you win, and if you win, fine. You lose, you come back the next day. So it's a game, and then we should keep it at that. So we should reduce this bickering. I was watching out yesterday, reading through the lines, because before you know it, Nigeria, somebody will go and draw one ethnic string. Before you know it, they will now say it's because it's an evil man, or because it's a Yoruba. So you understand. So I think we should calm down in this country. We should calm down. There are moments we should enjoy. Politics can be a very dangerous game in Nigeria, and we're all looking out for somebody's fault, who will take the wrong step, so that we can all bash the person, start to type from different locations and all that. It's just a good one. I mean, it's okay that the gathering came out and it was well represented.
Yes, it was an awesome tripod there. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Fayemi, and Obi. But Innocent Aduluba, what do you make of the jab, that little jab that was thrown by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he is the leader of the delegation? I know Nigerians, lots of pundits, of course, might make it look light, but of course, those who are, getting paid to do, information for the presidency, might take it out of context.
First of all, congratulations to the new Pope. Lots of plaudits have trailed his emergence. I think befittingly, like Barrister said, Peter Obi and Tinubu, in quotes, finally met. out there, if one person lost an election, you don't keep them too far away. You don't make people think there is enmity because of the variance at party membership or manifesto or party philosophy or ideology. The president is the leader of that delegation. I'll take it as a pun, a joke, something for the lighter mood. And like Barrister already said, that arena is not the one for violence or throwing negative banters and jab. So the president was being jocular. He bantered with Peter Obi, and it was shared as laughter. We are all journalists. Any narrative can come
that can sell
out
the
of
papers.
it, and it sells your medium. But generally speaking, it's. I think, if I should suggest, I would like President Tinubu to meet with Obi
Irregularly.
Yeah, you know, dilute tension. It shouldn't be that. Not specifically not Obi. He could have a meeting with maybe the presidential candidates who lost the. So we are not personalizing it, and people will start asking why.
All of them.
But you could be jocular, ask them how you are faring, like they make impute with,
Exactly.
and there will be good takeaways.
Very true.
Congratulations to the Pope. I also think congratulations to Peter Obi himself, who is a papal knight, to be in that. So it was a befitting outing in that order. President Tinubu struggling to look like
It was looking nice on the
paper.
suit.
struggling to look like a freshly graduated accountant.
Yeah. It looked good on that.
Very sharp in that suit, sprightly. You know, Nigerians wish him well. We like him to. I mean, that was a good outing, and we are proud of him like that as our president.
That's very, very true. As much as Nigerians are so very proud of that, of course, there's a missing link there that I think we should talk about just before we get into other matters. The presence of Tinubu. You know, and lots of Nigerians have come out to say, why is this young man always beside the father? Of course, the chemistry between the father and the son is there, but this should be from a different perspective. Why is he there? Why should he be there? Is it necessary for him to be there?
Yeah, but you know, his position, he was also shown the way he should go by the security agency. Because when the father advanced towards the Pope, he followed the father, wanted to have a handshake with the Pope too, but he was shelved by the security people. They shelved him alongside the president's security to go to a different direction, and they allowed the president to go have a handshake with the Pope. Okay, maybe he's beginning to learn that he cannot always be where the father is officially, because he's not there. There's nothing like the office of the son of the president in the country. There's nothing like the office of the first lady, let alone the first son. So he should learn his lessons. Even if you have to go on those trips, he should not be forward, because that is being forward, you know. Following the father bumper to bumper to that level of high-ranking organization leader. I mean, you don't go beyond your bound. Okay, if you should wait until you are called. That's what we're taught to. You know, don't step. Just like the scripture talked about the man who went on an event and went to the front seat to sit.
Yeah.
Then when the event was fully, they asked him to stand up there and go to the back when everybody, you know, so you always measure yourself and know where to be at every point. And if you're not able to do that, it's a sign that you're immature. It begins to tell on other things. Yeah, your aspirations on other things, it will begin to work against it, because you seem not to know protocol. You seem not to know what to do at all point, and so you will lose credibility, trust, and the rest of that. So he should measure, especially now that he has political ambition. This is the time he needs to understand optics. It's not the right optics for you to be just like these people who are into finishing school and all that, protocol and ethics, how they had to work on Patient Jonathan. in those days when the husband was the president. When the plane lands, it's patients you see first coming out and waving people. Then the president will be following her. And they had to restrain her at some point because she threw cautions to the wind. She's not talking well. She doesn't speak well. She does not represent it doesn't have the charisma and the kind of outlook you want a nation to reflect. She doesn't have it. But you see her just all over the place, and they had to restrain her and put protocols right. You should know when to act and when not to act.
So very, very true. Because as much as we talk about these things correctly and see them the way they are, lots of people on the payroll of the media of the president have concluded. I just saw it, one of them today this morning, that if President Donald Trump, would allow his sons, come along with him on most of the journey he makes, that why shouldn't President Bola Ahmed Tinubu do the same? But of course, Nigeria is not America. There should be a little bit of
apples and oranges, and like it has been said, there is a place for everything. There's a place, and let me use the word, the European security, not just Italy. They are a master of protocol. And so they have their guest list with the designation of each.
Yes.
And the identity of the father is different from the identity of the son. If you watch the clip, that security manufacturer was very professional.
Yeah, very professional.
Just moved with you and showed you nicely.
Where you should be. Politely.
Nicely.
Politely.
Nicely. So, Sheikh Tinubu, let me use the word, I'm a fan of Sheikh Tinubu. I'm proud of him as the son of the president trying to learn the ropes.
The ropes, right.
That learning it right is what will decide his level of acceptance out there in the society.
Very, very
if
true.
he doesn't get it right, it will now come down to him being forced on people. Let people love, accept you because of your charm, your charisma, your influence.
But that cannot drop on you. You have to develop.
I would say at this stage it's imperative for those in the presidential quarters to make it a priority to have him groomed.
They have to school him. Is
Yeah,
he ready for that? Is he teachable?
Everybody
Well,
can
he
be
is.
teachable.
That's subjective.
All right, so let's look at other matters here, and from one issue to another. Tinubu approves licenses for North Oil project by Stefan Sofeli, coming from the Niger Delta region. Your area is one of those key areas pivotal to the economic growth of Nigeria. It grosses so much from oil production. How do you feel, knowing realistically that we are on the wild goose chase, approving licenses for oil deals in the north? What is the deposit of oil in the north really? And does it warrant giving them licenses?
Oil have been discovered in the north. Okay. Yes. You see, there's oil everywhere in Nigeria. Okay. But is it in commercial quantity? That is the question that we have to answer. Even in Delta State, the areas where there are no oil, there's a place called Alidima, they just discovered oil there. And quickly, the governor went to fix somebody from that region in the Sopadek just because they discovered. Is it in commercial quantity? Because you are supposed to have the Sopadek commissioners from oil-bearing communities. So because of discovery, it just rush.
The quantity is not verified yet.
Yeah, it's not in commercial quantity.
But
just
the man
a
has
discovery.
entered the Sopadek.
They fix somebody there already. So what I'm saying now is, oil was discovered in the north during the Buhari regime. Buhari spent a lot of money for oil prospecting and all that for exploration, oil exploration and prospecting and all that. And they came up with this idea that they discovered it. Okay, but the question is it in commercial quantity? We don't know. If they are giving license to them, is it to drill or to mine in the north or back same in the south? Because the truth is that Northerners have oil license. They are even more into oil than the Southerners. I've always been into oil. They are even more in oil than the Southerners that own it. I mean, look at NNPC. We've had more Northerners lead the NNPC than you have any other ethnic divide or extraction of the country. So, I mean, the last NNPC director that just left, DG, is from the north. We've had them in the past. We've had some from the south too. The likes of Gaius Obaseki from Edo State, and so many of them. So, if it's in oil quantity, if it's in commercial demand, that's fine. They can go and exploit. I mean, there are countries in North Africa that have oil, because there is this philosophy that oil is usually in the south because it's a floating gel. Okay, when we did oil and gas law, we're taught that it's a floating gel that is usually found predominantly in southern areas. Okay, but when you look at North Africa, Libya, for example, you see that they have oil in very huge quantity. Look at Saudi Arabia, desert countries. Okay, look at Qatar. Qatar, I mean, the gas deposit in Qatar is what made Qatar. Gas deposit in Qatar is what made Qatar today and all that. So, if we find oil in the north, it's a blessing. That's what I think. As long as it is not politicized, it is not regionalized, as long as the Petroleum Act subsists and the Mining Act subsists, it says that whatever is beneath the earth in terms of mineral resources belongs to the federal government. Okay? It's just that we are being cheated, because we'll see gold in Zamfara being mined by individuals, we'll see tin and other resources, solid minerals, being taken away by individuals, okay, and communities. But when it comes to oil resources, the answer is Nigeria that was everybody that owns it. Someone joked, someone gave a joke the other time. He said that the federal government keep acting out, that if you come to his backyard now and you see oil there in his backyard, say who owns it? Say they will say it's the federal government. He said, well, when you come to his backyard and then find Igbo there, who owns it? You understand? So, will the federal government come and claim it, or they will arrest him? So that's like a joke to the issue. But I think it's for the general good of the country. We should not panic when there's oil in the north. We are supposed to have oil everywhere. Nigeria is a rich country, and that's what it is.
All right, but just before we know if the quantity is good enough for the investment, lots of Nigerians have concluded that this is more like a Trojan horse to provide for a social welfare that is available in the southern part of Nigeria, particularly in the south of Nigeria, and replacing that or pasting that in the northern part of Nigeria, even before the large exploration is done. So do you believe it's a Trojan horse?
The discovery of oil in the north is a welcome news. Is a boost to Nigeria's already vast mineral deposits. The onus, like we've heard, is it of commercial quantity? Yeah. And then is it that as soon as oil is discovered, we abandon everything ongoing that are still halfway undone and just rush to the north, you know? That can be pegged down, if you ask me, for the medium term towards the long term. And then you efficiently deal with your refineries that are on ground, possibly, if you ask me, to function well and compete with Dangote, you know, and let Nigerians have options, while that is, for me, a keep in view thing. We cannot vouch for where we are oil-wise, and then we are rushing to start a new one. Largely, as we speak, Nigeria still imports refined oil in some appreciable quantity. Yeah. When can we be over that? When can we be over that?
Self-sufficient.
You know, again, with regards to that joke, in Texas, if you have a plot of land and oil is discovered, it's the family's oil. Yeah. It's the family's oil.
That's a different law.
You know, but that's another law on its own for another sovereignty. Yeah. So, but here, I'm beginning to think that can even apply if we will agree.
The law has to change.
Yeah, you know. You have a family land, it's an ancestral legacy, 100, 200 years, and suddenly you lose it because oil was discovered. You just lose your own land. And, you know, but that's another topic. But for finding oil in the north, welcome. But is that enough for us to turn away from things that are lying under ineptitude? Why don't we fine-tune? Why don't we almost take them to where they can sustain? When that is running, it's like you own two cars. One of them, you have a car that is carrying you well. It became faulty. It's your main source of livelihood. You hear there is another car for sale. You start gathering money to go and buy that car. Monies that can fix this one and get you running. And from this running, you can still generate income to purchase the second car. So let Nigeria be prudent. God has blessed us already.
Very, very true. Because the total capacity, if really we are to, take care of what we have, the total capacity for Nigeria is about 3.5 million barrels per day. That is what ordinarily we should be doing. The capacity is there to make that happen, but we're doing less than 1.7, 1.6, 1.5. You know, so just like you did say, if we can't take care of what we have already deposited, then why would we go searching for somewhere, trying to discover the wheel, when we have the wheel already running in another part of the country? But let's take a look at Daily Trust just before we leave it for this particular segment. How Boko Haram killed the 90 farmers in Borno in 5 months. So Barrister Vance Ofedi, I'd love you to talk on this, especially if possible, reference it to one of the trendiest news, gathered from Lagos, I think yesterday or day before, where 87 northerners were found in Lekki Ajah access.
Yeah, the Dangote
yes, Dangote, and they said that they were called in to work for Dangote refinery. Now, most of these people, when interrogated, are farmers that have been dislodged from the northern part of Nigeria, from Katsina, and they are here in Lagos State in Nigeria. Now, do you think there is enough reason for these people who should be cultivating the land, making themselves available in places like Lagos? Lagosians have concluded these people don't pay tax. They don't even rent good houses. Why should they be here?
Well, by law, every Nigerian have a right to live anywhere in the country. Section 41 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, we have a right to live anywhere in the country. However, what we don't have a right to do is to live anywhere and commit offenses or run foul at the laws of the land, either or the tradition of the people and the rest of that. The Northerners have been highly displaced. It's a ravaged place. I mean, their lawmakers, their governors, and the rest of that actually don't know what they do and what they discuss in their Northern Governors Forum, in their the lawmakers in the National Assembly and all that. I don't know what to do. Now they are proposing that they want to criminalize voter apathy. In the mix of this level of decadence and displacement, in the north, farmers have been pushed to the wall. Because these are people, they are crude farmers with implements, crude implements and all that, have no resources to even protect their homes, let alone their farms. They have no resources. They are open to attack at every point in time. So they go there, ravage, complete, finish villages and all that. Now it impacts on, you see that farmers are now seeking for white-collar jobs.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Those ones might be genuine farmers who have no criminal intent. But because their place of abode have been overrun by insurgency and the act of wickedness, they suddenly have found themselves is it Dangote that invited them? What are their qualifications? What kind of job are they going to do inside Dangote? It's a factory work. What kind of, even the factory work in refineries, you have to be skilled in that line of business. So are these people educated? Are they? So at the end of the day, you find out that the crisis in the north, because we think it is the north that is affected. Okay, we don't know that the entire country is affected because the crisis in the north is bearing some kind of negative fruit elsewhere. Okay, the south is being encroached. Okay, first they say desertification, now insurgency. So many factors are contributing to why the north is unlivable. Like Nigeria came out to be one of the worst countries to live in a recent poll. One of the most dangerous places to live in recent poll. You know, whilst I was in America, I know how it feels when you're in America. You just walk. You don't even look at your back. You just walk through. There's this assurance. Security is top notch. The water you are drinking is even different. So many things are different. And it just, because people really have worked on the system. It was people who made the system the way it is. So our leaders, what are they doing about the system, the current system? What are their imprints? How are we moving forward or backward? How do we move from here? Where are we going to? Where are we coming from? These are questions we need to ask and get answers to. People must know where the leaders are taking us to. Leadership is not fallow. You have to define where you are taking people to. So, and we've not seen that, and that's quite unfortunate.
Very, very true. So very true. Innocent Adeluba, in the 70s and the 80s, it was very easy for you to crisscross the length and the breadth of Nigeria. You know, people took traveling as part of leisure. You know, they travel around the world and around Nigeria, and then they see, you know, get in tune with different communities as they go along. But it's still not the same now because of insecurity. The north is ravaged. The southeast almost is a no-go area. The southwest is a little here and there. Speak to us.
Well, it's a terrible time to be a Nigerian. Like you heard from the recent poll, a darling destination like Nigeria, being ranked among dangerous places to live. You know, Nigeria is a fantastic. A lot of time I watch the cable TV and watch the Nat Geo. I'm asking, when will Nigeria's what would environment and wildlife be? You see Angola, you see Congo, Banguela, Okavango.
They go to those places.
Yes, it's in Africa here, south of the Kruger National Park. But here, I'll be like, Nigeria is so isolated. You know, and sympathy to those in the north whose places have been ravaged. But I'm very wary about the crowd of some of them I see. There was this street I know, the landlords had to warn that one of themselves, as an equally landlord, who gave out his shop to one of them. And in that one shop, every evening, over 70 of those boys gathered there. They will block the street. Some can sleep on their motorcycle. Yes. I don't know where they got the skill from. They will lie on a motorbike.
They are nomadic.
And they have slept. So they became, you know, it was a menace on that street. If you have one little thing, up to 10 of them will gather and beat up one people. And they have ready matches. You don't know where they come out of. So sometimes there's the intent to help, you know, but another time, it's a friend to tell you, come see, come sir. When I saw the video, some of them said they came all the way from the north to cut grass at Dangote refinery. And I'm like, you know, so like you said, if they rent meaningful houses, that's the kind of rent I'm telling you now. One person that just have one abode here is eligible to accommodate nearly 100 of his people. Or less, or how many numbers. And when you are in that neighborhood, everywhere is, you have to watch for yourself. You have to watch out for yourself.
Because of the rapid response.
You know, and we don't have a 911 number you call and help comes immediately. So the menace is, there's a big structural imbalance. But Dangote, I don't think it's a haven for even such labor. If you look at his oil business, maybe security, and even security, you walk into such a plant, they are well trained. Yeah. So it's not for all comers, it's not for pedestrian people. We should begin to take a security seriously.
The reason he even brought this thing to the northern and southern part of the country was for security reasons.
Very true.
So now the same persons or the same enclave for direction, what is happening in the north is now encroaching into the whole thing. So God help him. I don't know what he intends to do.
Very true. I was watching a documentary yesterday on TLC, and some African Americans truly wished that Nigeria would have been the best destination for them, because there's this mass of African Americans relocating their roots and all. So, okay, the only place they felt it was good and not manageable is Ghana. That they go to.
They are still not happy.
Of course, they
While
are
they are
not.
in Ghana, they are still looking.
No, Ghana will frustrate them because the economy is so bad in Ghana. Nigeria is where if not for the fear of what is going on. And I tell most of them then that you can't even stay here because the average black American is very erratic, impatient, and all that. It requires so much patience to stay here. You understand? But they just feel that we are the ones that are lucky. We know our route. We know home. We can trace and say, my great-grandfather built this house, and my grandfather took over. And now, my father showed me the spots that my great-grandfather. We have that track. It gives you, and it gives you sanity. Just that
of your identity.
Yeah, it gives you sanity. But them, they don't really have. Just few of them could trace. Okay, and so if we have actually built this country, if we have done well,
Yes.
many of our brothers who are over there, they will be here.
Yes.
And they will find meaningful things to do because they are very talented too. You go to their communities, you talk about music, those areas they are allowed to flourish, you talk about creativity, different kind of, even business. Many of them are well talented. So I think that we are not building this place. It's not just a disadvantage to us, but we're also losing our brothers who should have come back here, populate this place, make life better, increase
development,
the GDP, the whole thing about the country. If Nigeria stands out today, there'll be a lot of influx of people, and even the Americans will be threatened because
of course
your citizen, your population is the power of a country, and then the visa rejection and the rest of that, those things will abate because naturally if people are not coming over, there's no point in rejecting people who are not coming. So it will give us some kind of ecological balance.
Very true.
So that.
All right, we have to leave it at that for this particular segment, and just to let you know, both gentlemen will be here to take us on our main conversation. That is, when we return, Atiku Obi coalition proposals sparks a debate ahead of 2027 elections. It's Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere.